man's at all times, protect yourselves at all times, keep it clean, touch gloves, let's go.
Fight number one here tonight on Fox. Frank Sanchez, the man right there. Joe Goosen, how about this? Amateur record out of Cuba, 214-6.
Believe it or not, for Cuban fighters, that's not a lot of fights.
That's true.
Really? But I'm just thinking, if you're going to fight 220 fights as an amateur, you're going to lose 6 bad judging, bad luck. I mean, 6 losses.
No, it's incredible. It's incredible, but it really is. But I have trained, and Lennox knows through the Olympics and the amateurs, some of these guys have 300-400 fights.
That's because they don't have a pro system going on.
Exactly. Right. Round number one. Joey Dawejko out to touch gloves after the brief dust-up. Comes out, fires a jab right away. Sanchez on him immediately.
Now, Joey may not look, but he's actually a slick counter puncher. He'll make you miss. See, he's got a nice little style, head movement. He'll make you miss and try to counter you real quick.
You know, it's funny, in this era of dreadnoughts, right? So Lennox Lewis here helped usher in the large super heavyweights. Yet if we've learned nothing, especially here in New York City over the last year, it's that what you look like might not matter at all, right? Andy Ruiz at the Garden, beat Anthony Joshua, the Body Beautiful. We're going to see Adam Kovnatsky. Lennox, he's not the Body Beautiful. Neither is Tank. But if you can fight, you can fight.
That's true. He does a good job of staying away from punches, and he's really calm with his approach. That's what I love about him. That's why you can tell he's had a lot of experience.
He has, and he just slipped. He stepped back and slipped a nice right hand by Frank Sanchez, who's really good with that right hand. One of my associates in the gym sparred with Frank Sanchez. You know what he told me? He said, "It's the first time I felt my life was in danger sparring with anybody was with Sanchez." So he's a dangerous man.
Sanchez is doing a good job right now at keeping the distance, and that's what he's supposed to do, especially against a shorter man.
I like the way you said that. I had associates in the gym. Me and my associates are in the gym. Sanchez, very disciplined, they say, in his camp. Defected from Cuba when he had all that success on the Cuban amateur system. Was not placed on the Cuban Olympic team in 2016, so he defected to the United States and has been very busy as a pro. 10 fights in 2018, 4 in 2019. And they say he is always in top condition. It's just a matter of getting now the experience necessary to climb the ladder.
Yeah, and he brings a lot of experience with those 200 and something amateur fights. But I got to tell you, Frank Sanchez just threw a really nice, a few seconds back, left hook. And Joey Dawejko put his right hand up and automatically went right off of that with a counter shot to the body. It was really very tricky stuff. And this is the type of fight you've got going on right now. It's sort of, both guys are keeping their hands up well, and they're very aware of punches coming at them and where their defense should be. So first one to be able to crack that defense is going to be in good shape.
Sanchez tries the jab, blocked by Dawejko. Dawejko knows like he's here to be the, as I mentioned, the rugged opponent. Comes off a win after 3 straight losses, but he's fighting real competition. Lost to Sergey Kuzmin, who was 14-0, Brian Jennings, who was 22-2. So he comes in as the opponent, but he's been giving rising heavyweights some very good work. Round number 1 in the books, a night of heavyweights in Brooklyn. Back here for round number 2. This was the start of round 1. They touch gloves. Wait a second. Lennox, are you supposed to touch gloves when your opponent does that?
No way, because it all started from the weigh-in where they were giving each other mouth. I'm like, if somebody was giving me mouth at the weigh-in, I'm not touching his gloves. I'm coming right out to fight.
No, Lennox, you would touch a guy's gloves.
Wait a minute, Brian, you're supposed to touch gloves at when the referee's giving you the instructions. That's it.
All right.
You don't have to touch gloves once
so
the
the
bell rings.
protocol
The protocol is touch gloves when the referee's giving you instructions. That's it. No, it's not.
Great cricket. Heavyweight titles are all in Great Britain.
Right.
Joey really needs to do a little bit more offense instead of waiting. He's waiting for the counter punch, and sometimes when you wait, especially when Frank is so fast, it's hard to catch him on the way out. You basically have to put him against the rope so he can't run away.
Sanchez with a good jab, some good long jabs with that height advantage of 6'4" to about 5'10", 5'11". So he's able to use that. Obviously, boxing skills are there as well. Nice right to the body on Dawejko. But Joe, you brought up in the last round that Dawejko is quick. There's a lot of nice slick things in the ring, and his counterpunching ability.
You got to keep a close watch on it because At the very end of the round, Sanchez threw a left hook, and Dawejko slipped it and went to the body with the left hand, and then a hook to the head and landed it. It was very clever stuff.
Dawejko also Polish heritage, so he said he would enjoy being here tonight. Obviously, there's going to be a huge throng of Polish fans here tonight for Adam Kownacki in the main event.
When you look at that build on Sanchez, he just looks like a powerhouse. And, you know, he throws that right hand. Remember the first time we saw him fight and he whistled that right hand, he missed it, and we both went, yikes. You know,
no, he throws a great right hand, and he needs to put other punches together like he's trying to. But first, he has to establish that jab.
Yeah. And that's what his trainers at the fighter meeting said, that, they want him to box a little bit more, use a little bit more lateral movement, the jab, right?
Yeah.
Sanchez gets under a right hand, fires one back. See the punch stats there. Sanchez outlanding 15-6 in round number 1, 7-4 in round 2, so a sizable advantage, but a good competitive fight. Good straight jab by Sanchez. That's a scoring shot.
Now Sanchez is getting on his wheels a little bit, and like he should, because what he was really doing in the first round, he was standing in front of Joey, and that's the wrong thing to do against a guy, especially when he's fresh in a fight like this.
Do you like that, Lennox? He's 223. Do you like him getting up, moving like that?
Yep. Yeah, he looks good when he moves like that. It opens a lot of things, and you got Joey standing in one spot, waiting to counterpunch, which is a mistake.
See, he's forcing Dawejko to re-engage and try to get himself set back up. That's round 2. There's Frank Sanchez out of Cuba, now living in the United States. Let's get more on him with Heidi Androl. Heidi?
Thank you very much, Brian. Well, he had an interesting story. Like a lot of Cubans who make their way to the United States, he actually went through Mexico to get into the U.S. This was back in 2016. Found himself in Miami, Florida. From there, he ended up in Las Vegas, where he was homeless for 4 days, actually living on the street, sleeping on the street. He's a success story, and you know what? He even told us a little fun fact about him. He likes to play the guitar alongside his brother and his father. Brian?
Heidi, thank you very much. Frank Sanchez there. We asked him if he have any hobbies. He said eating. It's a good hobby.
And if I could point something out real quick, right? In the corners of both guys, you've got Ryan Garcia's father, who's standing in for the ill trainer for Frank Sanchez right now. He's a great prospect, Ryan Garcia. Henry Garcia's in the corner. And then in the opposite corner, somebody who thought Lennox Lewis, Justin Fortune, who's the trainer for Joey Dawejko. So it was 6 degrees of separation.
Was it
European
European Championships, Lennox?
European Championships in Ireland. Yes. And,
how did it work out?
It worked out great in my favor.
For you, yeah. Not for Justin as well.
That's the first time I actually boxed a really short guy with tree trunk legs. And it was hard to knock him out because every punch on the chin he was just coming back at me.
Headgear back then, though, right?
No headgear.
No headgear back then? Oh, okay. It's the headgear era. Here, round number 3. Frank Sanchez in the gold and red trunks. Joey Dawejko in the white and red, the red of Poland. Frank Sanchez getting up, showing a lot more movement now, dancing around. And a lot more of that ring.
Go ahead. And I like what Sanchez is doing. I mean, he could hold his ground a little bit more and go after Joey. And he's a very accurate puncher, so he really should depend on his accuracy, because he throws great punches and he doesn't really waste punches. I've never seen him miss too much.
Focus starting to land as well by Sanchez.
So Dawejko kind of complained there. He ducked the right hand and it hit him towards the back of the head, and he looked to the referee for some help, and he said, no, you caused that yourself. So Dawejko's getting a little frustrated right now because of the movement. And look, he wishes Frank Sanchez would stand in front of him a little bit more, because his style depends on you throwing something and you being within reach of him to counter you. And right now, Sanchez isn't letting that happen. So he's fighting a good fight. It's a 10-round fight. We're only in the 3rd round. There's plenty of time for him to settle into this fight and start throwing some more bombs. And I'm talking about Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez is pot-shotting right now, which is, basically, because Joey's standing in one spot, he's able to throw hard. Sometimes gets out of the way and sometimes not.
Dawejko Dawejko trying with the right hand, trying to close that gap as Sanchez clearly using a lot more distance now in these last 2 rounds. And you can see, well, that's the amateur training, Lennox. The jab, he springs right back out of the way. 3 heavyweight fights tonight here in Brooklyn. Adam Kovnatsky unbeaten in the main event. Back in Brooklyn, New York, Brian Kenny with Lennox Lewis and Joe Goosen here ringside. Larry Hazard, Heidi Androl with us as well. Frank Sanchez, Joey Dawejko here, round number 4. Sanchez in the red and gold. Joe Goosen mentioning in the previous round that it's Henry Garcia, the chief second, who's in the corner for Frank Sanchez, and his son, Henry's son, is Ryan Garcia, one of the top prospects in the sport. Let's go to Heidi right now. Heidi.
Thank you very much, Brian. Well, 6 more rounds to work, but what did you tell Frank going into this 4th?
Basically told him to concentrate on using that jab, using his distance, take advantage of his height, you know, don't let him come in. So we're basically, our fight plan is working. You know, with that jab, he can't get in, so that's what we concentrate on.
Excellent, thank you very much. Guys, just what you were saying.
Heidi, thank you. And that was just as he's saying that, too. A good hard right hand from Frank Sanchez. Opponents, fellas, are having a hard time getting to the 2nd round against Ryan Garcia. We've seen him fight recently. He has been spectacular.
Yeah, he's getting better by the month. He's something else. Now, that being said, getting back to this fight here, Joey Dawejko, he's putting on too slow a pressure right now. He's allowing Sanchez to kind of outmaneuver him. And, you know, it's one thing, to put on pressure, but it's very slow pressure. If he wants to tire Sanchez out on top of the movement, he's got to really put on some use faster feet and get it closer. Right now, he's just letting Sanchez dominate from the outside.
Okay. Dawejko running in there with the right hand. I mentioned Larry Hazard is with us this evening. Larry, your thoughts so far?
Well, so far, guys, I got Sanchez ahead comfortably, 30-27. Hey, it's a great point you guys made early on about that Cuban pedigree. You know, those guys, they come here with 200 or 300 fights, and even though his professional record, Sanchez, is only 14 fights, that 200 or 300 amateur fights really translates to about 25 to 30 professional fights.
Larry, thank you very much. I saw a kid last week in Texas, Israel Madrimov, over 400 fights. He's got about 11 pro fights right now. They're looking at a title shot in a year. So right, to your point, it's a very different thing when you have that level of competition. And as we mentioned with Lennox Lewis, when you're fighting at the highest level internationally as an amateur, you're fighting top competition all the time. You're just used to the highest level.
Yeah, absolutely. The Cuban team was always a great team, and we always was concerned about that team because they had great boxers, and most of the guys, you're right, had over 200 fights, maybe sometimes 400 fights, and they were, you could call them pros, and everybody was saying, oh, that's not fair because they don't turn pro, but that's how the country is. No professionals over there, just amateurs.
Well, what was unfair to you was unfair to them, right? I mean, you'd be fighting a guy in his late 20s, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, in your early 20s. Very big difference. Final seconds of round number 4. Frank Sanchez admonished right there, but winning this fight. Robert Helenius loosening up. Helenius out of Finland gets his shot against Adam Kovnatsky in our main event later tonight. Here it's Joey Dawejko there in the white and the red trunks, the red and gold trunks, that is Frank Sanchez. And 93% of this fight has been fought at distance, and according to CompuTrack, which of course favors the 6'4" Frank Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez is just a better athlete in there right now. He can move around and do exactly what he wants to do. He throws that jab nicely, can always connect with that right hand, and you're right, he's keeping this fight at good distance.
And that's just a good example of it right there. He just threw an uppercut from the outside, eats a right hand there, but that uppercut not even close to Sanchez. Dawejko able to reach the body there. Let's go to Dawejko's corner and Heidi Androl.
Thank you very much, Brian. What did you tell Joey going into this round, Justin?
He's going to get busier as he gets in there. Once he was inside, so put his hands free and get to work. He's letting Frank tie him up and nothing.
He said that he wanted to throw more punches. I know he's a counter puncher, but what would you like to see more volume out of him?
Absolutely, I think more combinations. Start using your angles and that. It's still early, but that's what I need. I need that pressure early.
Thank you so much, Justin. Brian, back to you.
And that's Justin Fortune, who we were mentioning earlier.
Okay.
Former fighter, fought Lennox Lewis in the amateurs. Dawejko trying to force the action there, barreling in.
And Justin's right. It is still early, but it's the halfway point right now, and he's lost most of the round. So it might be early, but
it's getting late early. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's late early. You better believe it.
As Yogi once said, yes.
Oh yeah, we've seen this punch before. Good right hand by Frank Sanchez on the top of Joey's head, and you know, sometimes it can affect your equilibrium.
Yeah, that right hand from Tyson Fury was to the side of the head of Deontay Wilder, and Wilder, we were wondering how much that took out of him. There were a lot of things that seemed to be bothering Wilder in that fight, but that was the right hand to the side of the head.
Yeah,
you know, it does change things. Put it down.
And he was bleeding from the ear as well, so his equilibrium is off.
You see, blood is coming from the left eye of Joey Dawejko as he's been cut.
It's a nasty cut, but he also did it again. Frank Sanchez threw a right hand. Dawejko came back with a nice short right hand counter. Now here's the punch. I think we got it on replay where Joey got cut. He's got the left hand low. Here comes the jab. And okay, let's see. That may have done it. He's had skin that eyebrow.
Yeah, just kind of grazed him, but may have done enough.
That's all it takes sometimes.
You know, Joey's keeping his left hand down, and he's just really just inviting a right hand by Frank Sanchez right now. And, you know, as this fight goes on a little bit more, you know, he's not going to be able to see them.
Sanchez able to get up on his toes. Kind of target practice right now with that jab. Dawejko a little more desperate, lunging in, eats a right hand, gets under that, trying to stay competitive as he got cut. Frank Sanchez and Joey Dawejko here. We go back in earlier action. Dawejko was complaining to the referee that he's getting his head forced down. You know, Sanchez, Lennox is able to do it and then move out of the way, so it's, you know, not as flagrant. That was in slow-mo. It certainly looked flagrant there.
Well, I always say, you know, you control the head, you control the rest of the body, and that's what Frank Sanchez is doing at the moment.
What should he do to try to counter that? Can he get down and dig to the body when he's got that glove on the back of his head, or what should he do?
Yeah, I mean, the referee obviously is going to warn him like he's doing now, but Joey can actually punch him in the body when he's pushing his head down. You know, give him a couple punches to the body. You know, he's going to definitely stop that and try to cover up his body and not get hit to it.
It makes sense if you have one hand that's out of play around the guy's neck. There's an opening for you to work with the body. And that's what Dawejko's going to do.
Sanchez trying to move in with the right hand there. By the way, the referee, Shadow Murdoch, has done a nice job.
Great job.
He himself too much into this fight, except when he had to.
Joey did a nice move there where, you know, Frank threw a right hand and rolled with it and came back with his own right hand. So we're going to see if we can see more of that coming from Joey.
Joe Goose, let me ask you this. All right, so we're in round 6. We're getting rounds now, right? Dawejko's a tough guy. He's going to give him rounds. Can Frank Sanchez be heavyweight champion of the world?
Well, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that he's got the right materials. I just think that, you know, he's going to have to learn a little bit more. He's got to get more experience. He's, like I say, he's had a lot of amateur fights, but still, the pros are the pros, and he's got to fight more different styles. He's fighting a different style tonight, but you know, at a certain point, he's got to go for the knockout. He's a knockout puncher, and eventually, he's got the guy cut already. He's got him slowed down. He's got him breathing heavy. And I'm talking about Dawejko. He's got to go in for the kill at some point. Because Dawejko is not looking dangerous to me.
Right.
Yeah,
Lennox, same question.
I agree with that. I mean, he can basically step it up anytime he wants to because he's the sharper and stronger puncher. The only thing he has to worry about is, you know, Joey. Joey's got a couple little tricks up his sleeve. You know, he's been there for a long while. He had a great trainer with Freddie Roach, so he's learned a lot of different things. So these are some of the things you have to be concerned about in these early rounds.
Lennox, your gut feeling though when you're watching Frank Sanchez, are you thinking, hey, this guy might be heavyweight champion someday? Are you there? Are you not quite there? Where are you?
Well, you know, I would need to see a lot more of him, but he's got the beginnings of it. He's got good style. He's got that amateur background and pedigree, and this is what you need, especially to be a heavyweight champion, a good amateur background.
Fair enough.
You know, I think, and one thing real quick, Lance, I think, you know, if if Sanchez were to back up Dawejko, I think Dawejko likes coming forward too. I think if he actually, pressured him a little bit and left him on the inside, not just holding the muscle, but actually trying to look combinations, I think he'd be much better off when he get the knockout.
Final seconds of round number 6.
Time!
He's a no-nonsense guy, no frills, but he'll give you everything that you can handle in the ring. Power, pressure, great punch, great punches, a variety of punches. Yeah, he's got it all.
We have 3 heavyweight fights for you here tonight on Fox. Again, starting off here, this is Frank Sanchez in the red and gold trunks. Decorated amateur out of Cuba, now fighting out of the United States. Joey Dawejko of Philadelphia in the white and the red from Poland.
Yeah, Frank Sanchez is really just throwing one jab at the moment. When he'll get more results if he throws 2 jabs.
Yeah, and in between rounds, the referee, Shutter Murdoch, he warned Sanchez about leaning too much on the neck of Joey Dawejko. So, he's been warned. And I think he should be, because it's really not a good tactic.
Dawejko lunging, coming up short. Sanchez dancing away. Now, he's not as big as the heavyweight champions are right now. Fury is 6'9", and was in the ring at 270 plus 2 weeks ago. Deontay Wilder is 6'7". Anthony Joshua is about 6'6", 6'7". Sanchez is, I'd say this, only 6'4", right? So he's not going to walk in against the champs and be intimidating to them.
No, I mean, you look at Frank Sanchez's legs. Doesn't really have like tree trunk legs, but he's got those movable legs where you can move around, those dancing legs.
Served him well in this fight, certainly. And it served Anthony Joshua well in Saudi Arabia. Second fight with Andy Ruiz. He was boxing the night away.
Yes, he was. He did what he had to do.
I'm just wondering, as you size him up, size matters a lot. You have, especially someone, the champ Tyson Fury, is that size, and he can box. And he put it all together 2 weeks ago.
As we're talking, I'm thinking about somebody like Joe Frazier, who was, 208, going against guys that were like Foreman. Of course, he got beat by Foreman, but Ali, who was a big man for the time, 6'4", 220, 225. So little guys can be effective, but a guy like Frazier is just relentless.
Otherworldly.
Yeah, you got to have something really special if you're a smaller guy in the heavyweight division.
Especially now.
Even Tyson, he was only 5'10", but it was a power.
Yeah, 220, right, at his best, and put people out left and right.
I would be telling Frank Sanchez to, throw a double jab right hand and then a left hook to the body. After his combination, go down to the body, because the body will not move. It'll always be there, so it'll catch Joey easily.
Nice 3-punch combination by Sanchez, ending with that right hand that landed. Dawejko now is slowing up in his pursuit.
Joey's criticizing quite.
So that is a nice jab off that left foot, though. That is Vito Mielnicki out of New Jersey. It's about 35 minutes away. 17 years old, finishing up his senior year, I believe, at West Essex High School in New Jersey, and he's a terrific young fighter.
Yeah.
Nice kid.
What a great prospect. Great kid, but better prospect.
Was on the undercard 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas under Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. I sat and watched that fight. He looked terrific again. He looks terrific every time out. We've seen him here a lot on Fox. He's been just an exciting young prospect. And he's got, that's age 17 season, Joe. It's a long way to go.
Joey Dawejko is at a disadvantage at the moment. Unless he can do something, and what he needs to do is move his feet a little bit more instead of standing in one place. He has no footwork.
But it's not his thing, Lance, right? Can he do it? I don't think he can do it.
Well, look, he's coming forward. He's just got to pick up the pace. Just like, Sanchez is moving quickly on his feet backwards. He's not moving slowly.
I'll tell you, Sanchez boxing, the way he's up on his toes now, and he's got just a very different rhythm. You see him jumping in with the right hand. He looks like a very different guy, a dangerous guy.
And he's doing the right thing. He's coming in with combinations and then getting out of the way.
And he seems a little cockier, too. You know what I mean? He's up on his toes, then bang, bang from the outside. If he can keep that pace, which is difficult for a man his size, it's something.
Dawejko is not really a knockout puncher. And I got to tell you, knockouts translates into money and excitement and fans. At a certain point, I think Sanchez has got to say, all right, I'm done dancing. I've got you beat up a little bit. I got you slowed down. You're not a knockout puncher. I'm going to take it to you and test you with some combos and not hold so much, not push down, but challenge you and knock you out. You got to sometimes do that.
Yes, you're 100% right, Joe. I agree with you there.
Thank you.
Like I said, he can step it up at any time he wants to because he's just leading the way right now. He's doing what he wants to. This is where you can practice all kinds of different punches, and this is where he actually should be practicing his body punches.
Sanchez there, Dawejko is talking to him. I think he is basically telling him, stand and fight me like a man.
Right.
Toe the line.
Translation.
Yes, I will translate. You don't need to.
Now he's been calling Sanchez a few names the past couple
Well, that is,
rounds.
as I used to say, we were talking about John L. Sullivan, who fought here in Brooklyn a century or two ago, and it was toe the line. Remember, meaning stand on the line and fight. Don't go dancing around. Stand in front of me. Dawejko would love if those rules were in effect here tonight, but they are not.
I'm surprised you didn't ask if I was there.
It goes without saying.
Well, Joey's making a mistake because this is not fighting. This is boxing. It's sweet science.
Yeah.
So in the sweet science, you got to use your foot movement. You got to use feints, and you've got to slip punches.
Were you satisfied just to get a decision when you knew you could have turned it on and taken the guy out?
No.
Okay. No.
Well, like against David
That's what
Tua,
we
you
agree.
had to move, right, until, let's be smart here.
Oh yeah, but he felt my thunder.
Sanchez dancing away on Fox, FS1, and the Fox Sports app. Round 9 in our opening heavyweight bout. Frank Sanchez and Joey Dawejko. It has been all Frank Sanchez here tonight. He's 14-0, 11 of his wins by knockout. This was expected. It's just a matter of in what level of style would Sanchez get his win and continue his ascent. Good body shot there by Sanchez, digs in the hook.
Like I said, that's what he needs to do. After that double jab right hand, come to the body. Earlier he was dancing and you said it was rhythm. It looked like the rumba he was doing.
I like that though, Lennox. He's still punishing Dawejko doing that. It's not like he's dancing and avoiding contact. He's stepping in and punching. I think he just looks like a better fighter when he does that.
I agree.
I know you can get criticism. Look, Vladimir Klitschko did for years. Anthony Joshua did, completely outboxing Andy Ruiz the second time around. But it was the smart way to fight.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people said he could have stepped it up a little bit, but he did what he needed to do to win, to assure the win.
He stepped in and threw enough thunderous right hands. Sanchez certainly done some damage here in this fight. He's just here to win this, and he's been disciplined in that way. That happened in the previous round too, where Dawejko bent down in front of Sanchez, and Sanchez did not lean on him. So he doesn't need to be reprimanded. No point being taken away.
Or disqualified.
If he could be punished first, but that is not given a reason to shot a Murdoch to take anything away.
All right, it looks like Sanchez is going to be comfortable just getting the decision. Now, in all fairness, Dawejko's only been stopped one time in 31 fights. But if you knock out a guy that rarely gets stopped, that's a big feather in your cap, and I'd be shooting for that if I was in the corner of Sanchez.
Right. Okay, he made Dawejko miss every punch in that last round for the first 2 minutes. Dawejko did not land a shot in the opening 2 minutes of round 8. So, at a certain point, Lennox says, you throw a shutout.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not booing me, I'm moving. Maybe you want me to knock a guy out, but I'm winning and winning going away. Yeah. Although I hear what you're saying, Joe, right? If you want money in the coffers, knock people out. You want attention, knock people out.
Yeah. Now, in all fairness, Dawejko did land a nice right hand and a short little left hook on the inside with a little body shot.
So able to move Sanchez back with that shot.
Yeah, Sanchez has to watch his balance a little bit. That's a couple of things that he needs to work on in the gym is the balance.
We're going to keep it here between rounds, and we're going to try to go into the corner of Joey Dawejko. Hear what Justin Fortune is able to say to Dawejko here as he's in desperate shape. Right hand lands just before the end of the bell. Dawejko fires a shot well after the bell, and referee did not see that.
You're ready. You're ready. This is the last round, okay? Don't let him keep coming inside. That's what he wants to do. He wants to hit the body and then come with the overhand right. So be careful. Just be careful. Last round.
Well, you know, it's an interesting question, isn't it, Joe? Do you want to be careful? Hey, win this, box this guy, as they say. Or, hey, you know what? Step into this guy. And you'd rather see him be a little more aggressive, right?
I would, absolutely.
Yeah,
and
I mean...
And the last thing, we didn't get to hear Justin Fortune's instructions, but I know what they were.
What were they?
You need a knockout. Go get it.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Round 10, final round here. Good hook by Sanchez. A little feint with the jab. And I didn't even see that until we saw the replay, that right hand from Dawejko. So that does remind you that Dawejko is a dangerous fellow at close range, still.
Well, he is waiting for that right hand by Frank Sanchez so he can counterpunch. So that's what he was actually doing. But he's got to do a lot more work in there, and he's got to be more in a hurry because he's losing this fight.
Stop punching, no punching, step back.
Well, he's pretty much lost this fight. He's got about 2 minutes left, and he really needs to do something drastic. And I don't think it's going to happen. Even if Sanchez sat in the pocket with the last 2 minutes here, I don't think Sanchez is in danger of getting hurt or knocked out or dropped or anything. In fact, I think Sanchez has probably have a better opportunity to hurt Dawejko if they actually just stood toe-to-toe right now.
I think a lot of it, too, fellas, is it's where you are. You know, in the top 10 or where you are in the heavyweight system. I know last week Joseph Parker had a fight against Sean Del Winters. Again, not a heralded guy, but a tough guy. And Parker had said before, hey, if I want to make some noise, I have to knock guys out. And he ended up getting the knockout. But that's Joseph Parker, who's solidly in the top 10, right? So I think for Sanchez, it's like, hey, we're still at the point where we're getting wins, moving toward the top 10.
But you want to get in the top 10 more quickly, get knockouts.
Yeah, but he's still learning as a pro. He may be the best amateur in the world, but as a pro, there's a lot of things he needs to work on. Balance is one of them, footwork is one of them, and the double jab.
That's a good point. That was a good hook by Dawejko there a few seconds ago. He was able to land something. And again, that's part of what you get when you sign up and say, hey, let's get Joey Dawejko in here. You know you're going to get a tough guy in front of you.
Well, I got to tell you see guys middleweights on down, sitting in the pocket round after round, doing some beautiful stuff on the inside. Very clever stuff. And there's no reason that a guy like Sanchez can't learn that. It's what gets you knockouts with this type of tactic gets you a decision. You've got to have both. You've got to be able to play it from both ends.
Big headbutt there. Dawejko complaining. As they went head-to-head, now Shadow Murdaugh will separate them. See if there's any blood.
Time in.
And we're back.
Dawejko's got 30 seconds to do something drastic. It's doubtful it's going to happen. We've seen crazier things, so I mean, but it's very doubtful. It looks like Sanchez is going to pull out a nice answer here,
And I think this
boxing exhibition decision.
I think there's balance between both what you're saying. Here's Shadow Murdaugh again. Let's listen in. Mouthpiece. So it's the mouthpiece for Dawejko. I think there's, again, I hear what you're both saying, and there's wisdom to both.
No, ain't no water. Just put it in there, man. Just put it in there. Let's go.
Yeah, can't do that, fortunately. Have a little drink, final 10 seconds. But in that this a solid boxing performance by Frank Sanchez, gets a win basically. I mean, throws a shutout here, 10 rounds. It's all Sanchez, but he did have to work against very tough and game Joey Dawejko. First, though, Frank Sanchez, Joey Dawejko. We have a decision, and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, after 10 rounds of action, the judges are in agreement. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Kevin Morgan scores the bout 98-92. Julie Lederman and Ken Ezzo both score the bout 100-90. All three in favor of the winner. And still undefeated, the Cuban Flash, Frank Sanchez.
Was that 98? Or
no,
98-92? So
90-100.
Wait, no, for two. What was the first judge? Did they give 2 rounds to Dawejko? That's all I'm asking.
What's that?
Did they give 2 rounds to Dawejko? What rounds could they find to get that? You know, not that it matters.
That's a good question.
Where could you find here? I'm looking at. All right, I'm going to look at the scorecards, and you guys take us through this. So here's Frank Sanchez. Again, Sanchez looking for a level of progression fight, and he looked really good tonight.
Yeah, he threw a great combination there. is dependent on that right hand. He's had good success with that right hand and that jab.
Yeah, you know, right here, Sanchez, he had faster hands. He had longer arms. He was able to get in and out more quickly from Dawejko. And Dawejko just, you know, he was hoping that early on Sanchez would stand there and bang with him, and he didn't. He'd get those punches like that, run them back, and maybe turn him a little bit or box him again. But